Oh, no, there's more. Ooh, okay, okay. What was that? Okay guys, welcome back to Everyday Workshop. What we're going to be doing today is stripping the cab, putting it on a cart and moving it back so we can get to the front end of this. We also will be taking the engine out, hopefully on this video, and building a stand for that. Let's get started. To get started, what we're going to do is take all the wiring off, and we're going to come over here, take the steering box off, and we're going to also take it all the way up here to the steering wheel. Now, why I'm going to take the steering box off now is because once I pop the steering wheel off, I'll be able to just yank it out, and it'll be easier to lift the cab. Plus, we're going to rebuild this thing. All the seals and everything on this thing is shot anyways. So, might as well just get to that. And then the scariest part of this whole thing is that I am going to be taking this shifter apart, this Hydra-Matic shifter. Now, what's crazy about the Hydra-Matic shifter is that every adjustment from here, over here to the carburetor, to the bell crank down there, as you can see where the TV rod goes, all the way down here to set screws at the actual gas pedal. Everything affects the adjustment of the transmission and how it shifts. So it actually shifts really good right now. Granted, it is slipping, but I'm going to go through and kind of measure everything's at and pray to God I'm able to get it close when we put it all back together. I mean, I've heard horror stories where people spend months trying to get this back to where it needs to be. Okay, I still need to take the speedo cable off the back of the gauge, and then the oil line, I need to go get a plug for that, which I'll get in a little bit. But what we'll do real quick is unhook the shifter. Now I'm going to leave all the linkage where it is for now. So I'm just going to undo the cotter pin here, which should allow it to slip out, and then free it from the rest of the linkage to the transmission. There it is. And this here is for a light in the shifter. I just cut here, and hopefully I'll just be able to slice back into it. Maybe when we go through the shifter, we'll be able to put a new wire in, but I didn't know if I'd be able to. So this is hanging here. We'll just take these two bolts off, which is basically just a U-strap, and that should free it altogether. Okay, so that pretty much completes everything on the firewall. I still need to get the steering box off, but I need to go get a steering puller. I don't have one. So before we jump in here and take all that off, let's go ahead and take the doors off. We'll get the seat out and the gas tank out. And then I'll go run and get a steering puller, and then we'll finish up that. All right, let's see how hard this one is. Okay, this is more for my remembrance. Took this out, there was a washer behind here on the top bolt on the passenger side. I am more than guessing that is for spacing. And the door lined up really well, so we'll keep that in mind. has to be the original seat. It must have been reupholstered back when the repaint was done. I would love to see if I could find some kind of tag on it. Okay, the seat frame, it's actually really good. I do have the side skirts, they were kind of beat up. One thing I don't have is like the springs and stuff that come across here for the sliders. If you guys have any, hit me up. My email is everydayworkshop@gmail.com. Let me know if you guys got some of those parts. And also while we're here, I need driver set hinges. Well, just one, but might as well replace the set if I need to. Original though. I don't want aftermarket. This one particularly, and I'll show you guys a little bit later, is absolutely destroyed. Okay guys, as you can see, the seat is out. I did put sound deadening underneath the seat. Now I did derust it. The whole floor looks good. There's going to not need any patching. But if we do, that's going to be a pain. I kind of screwed myself on that one. But again, I wasn't sure whether I was going to fully restore it back then or not. As far as the back of the cab, this is actually sound deadening here too. Again, it's all been derusted. I painted it this color. I'm actually not going to mess with that, as long as I don't find any pinholes when I'm doing the outside and stuff like that. But I may come over it again with another sound deadening and sound deaden this also. Okay, but we'll see. I just want the cab to be as quiet as I can get it, because the road noise right now is crazy. Now, this is a brand new tank like I talked about before. Super dirty again because dirt and stuff gets in here. Still some stuff falling out from in between here. But before we take the tank out, I think it might still have some fuel in it. Like I said, I've been driving it. So we'll get under, drain the tank, and then pop this bad boy out. All right, guys, here we are underneath the truck. Now, this valve here comes out from underneath the bottom of the gas tank. It's already shut off right now. Runs the fuel line through here that I ran when I redid the fuel system along the fuel rail and up to the front. All I'm going to do is come cut it off here and run it into a gas tank. Turn it on, and hopefully I don't have more than, I think I have 3 gallons left in here. So let's get it done. Reach up into here. Got this. Okay, here we are with the line cut too short, so I have to sit here and hold it. Hopefully I don't have enough gas where this overflows, because gas is too expensive right now to waste. All right, guys, we are pretty much done. So what happens next is, well, to get the gas tank straight up, you have to take this valve off. So I will come in here, instead of, taking off this clamp, we'll just cut this. And then just see if it'll fit. Oh, no, there's more. There it is. Let's cut a little bit more of that hose off. There we go. All right. And that's all that actually is. So now we can go ahead and get the tank out, finish up. All right, well, lost the footage of taking it out, but I just unclamped the clamps here and popped it out. So the tank is now out. The cab is pretty much clear. I just clean up the end of the nonsense in here real quick, and then we need to go pick up the steering wheel puller. All right, guys, I went and picked up a steering wheel puller from good old Harbor Freight, but everything in there is metric, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's probably not going to be metric. Now, I didn't want to stop by Home Depot or anything, so I was able to find these at O'Reilly's, 2.5 inch, 5/16 coarse thread. So hopefully those will do it, and we can get this thing off. So let's go ahead and get started. And the horn button. Well, I was actually wrong. I was reading that the pressure screw was metric, but it does have standard bolts in here, so you can buy the kit and it will work on here. Okay, so the puller doesn't quite fit. So basically it's not narrow enough. So I need to come out and hog out a little bit of this material so that it'll fit. I'm just gonna use my Dremel. Okay, so I had to hog it out. I mean, I really hogged it out now. I'm almost all the way up against the flange here. So it does fit nicely now. There it is. Perfect. Very nice. Well, I wasn't really sure how to get that off, but it looks like we're going to have to pull this part off and then move the shaft up, and I found that out here in the maintenance manual. I follow this thing religiously. So if you were working on this, well, especially the GMC, get one of these. They definitely have one for the Chevy, a lifesaver. So what we have to do is come off and take this part off that holds the bracket for the safety neutral switch and kind of kick it this way. And then take this clamp off and just bring this whole assembly off. That way this can go out. Finally off. Okay, now really all that's left is just to take the steering box out. So we'll just pop it off and then remove the steering column that way, which consists of these two really dirty bolts and this one here. And we definitely don't have to worry about draining this box because it is self-drain. Well, you see me learning as I go, but we have success. Okay guys, actually it is the next day. Man, that thing was kicking my butt. So as you saw, eventually I just ended up cutting it. I didn't have the right tools to be pulling the pitman arm and the drag link, so it resulted to that. I was having bad allergies, my patience running low. It wasn't my best moment, but we do have it cut here and it is off. That is repairable, so I'm not too worried about that, but I am replacing the entire drag link with the new style ends. So I won't be needing that, but I don't like destroying anything original for the truck, so I'm glad I was able to at least keep that intact. Right there. And I picked up the right tool this time for the pitman arm, so let's go ahead and try to get that off this time. Okay, now we're over here on the workbench. I did bugger these threads, not the threads actually, threads are fine. The end up here a little bit, but it should be fine. I do need to get this arm off. I have been soaking this in penetrating oil for the last like 2 days. So hopefully that makes a difference. It is pretty seized on there. This is a nice, and I'm actually pretty bummed about this. This is like an old school Craftsman made in the US. And I just destroyed this here. I'm gonna see if I can get something to replace this. I really like this particular puller, but that's what you get for not using what's meant for. I did go pick up this kit from Harbor Freight. It's just a ball joint separator and tie rod end remover. So we're gonna end up using this probably and see if that works. I also have a little bit of heat, so we'll see if we need to get that in there. I don't have an acetylene torch, but we're gonna make this work. Okay, so basically it's getting like a little ridge here. So try to knock that ridge down. Because it's making the puller kind of kick to the side. So hopefully that helps a little bit. And I got this little piece here. It's 3/16 steel that maybe we can push on. But this thing is on there. There it is. Woo! Okay. Get breathe. Okay, guys. I had to let the shop air out, so I had to put the exhaust fans on. What I did when I did that was I go ahead and got the drag link end out, and then I just used this tool right here. Popped it right out, so we are completely clear on the pitman arm. But you can just see how rusted it is. So that's what we were battling. Luckily, I didn't booger up the threads at all, and we're able just to flatten that back out. I mean, it doesn't look the best, but it's functional, and you won't notice. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and jump over here and finish getting the cab off. Now, I already took the oil line out, so I have that plugged off. And I took the speedo cable out, which is just kind of hanging right here. I've been slowly putting penetrating oil on the two mounts, as you can see over there. That is completely ripped away from the sheet metal already. Now this one, I'm going to put a little bit of PB Blaster. I've been doing it almost every day for like a week, and then we'll hit it with some heat and try to get these off. And so we have that one, and then underneath here, we have this shackle here. So I'm going to leave it attached to the frame, and I'm going to try to come up here and get these two bolts out. I'll do that on both sides. Okay, like I said, ready to go. Now we go into like He-Man mode, and I'll show you how light this cab is. I mean, it's ready to just fall off. So we need to get the engine hoist in here and just pop it up. All right, guys, you probably have already seen these in the background. So I bought a bunch of 2x4s to build the hoist, or the lift part for the engine hoist, a cart for the cab, and probably a cart for the engine. I was going to make the cart for the engine out of metal, but metal is getting pricey, and 2x4s are cheap again. I think I'm paying like $3 a 2x4. So we are just going to make everything out of this. So let's go ahead and get that started. Here we are with everything all finished up, guys. Okay, so here is the, I don't know, lift mechanism, for lack of a better term, for the engine hoist. Now, this turned out better than I had hoped. Went in really easy, and I've got great clearance here. See if I can show you guys. Perfect. I mean, it just nails it. And over here is the cart. Let me get you a better view. Now, I didn't show any making of this, and I'm glad I didn't, because it's a giant pain in the butt. I had to modify some things here and there, but I got it to work. Now, why I know that it's quite large, actually, mainly because I needed it to fit over the frame, and I needed to be able to roll with the tires and everything there, just basically because, again, I don't have a ton of room. So this will come up into the air and then sit on top of here, and hopefully the bottom will land right about there. Now, I am all set up to do this. I would be lying if I said this is not making me nervous, guys. I can't really imagine how this doesn't just, fall on its face. We will figure that out as it goes. And I mean, my ceiling is right there. I measured it out. I'll have barely enough clearance, but I think all of this is going to work. So I'll set you up on the tripod and say your prayers for me. We'll see how this goes. All right, here we go. Can I even fit it in the cab? There we go. First hurdle done. Okay, that's not too bad. All right, here goes nothing. Okay, let's check everything. I cannot believe this is going so well. Okay. I am so stoked on how well this is going. I should stop saying that. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, guys, we hit our first snag. It was bound to happen with how well I was saying it was going. So when I measured out the supports, I measured from the back of the cab, but the cab, it looks like it narrows when it gets to here, about 4 inches. So I have to bring these in. So let me go ahead and do that real quick, and I'll get back to you guys. Okay, guys, I have it narrowed about 6 inches. It looks like it's gonna fit. The parking brake here is a little or in the way. Unfortunately, I need to accommodate for this, but I have it all the way in the air. But it looks like it's gonna fit well. Let's just get you back on the tripod and try to get this down. You can tell I'm out of breath moving that cab around. All right, let's go. Well, that is that. Yeah, it's a bit rickety. All right, guys, there it is, sitting on the cab. I wish I could zoom out more. My camera doesn't let me do it, but this is as far back as I can get. That is what it looks like on the stand. Whoo, but let me get you guys in. As you can see here, though, it's a bit rickety. It's gonna be a static load, so I'm not too worried about it. It holds it just fine, but if the frame permits, I'm gonna try to add some cross bracing right here, because it's all it really needs to be able to tie in the legs so they're not moving. But there it is, cab up on the stand. All right, let me get everything out and the cab back, and we'll see how it looks. All right, guys, there you have it. It is on the cart. As you can see, I actually added a cross brace here. It was way too rickety. It's great now. I have no worries about it. The only downside, obviously, I'll have to remove that if I want to slide the frame in or out. But as it sits there, it's going to be just fine. So that worked out really well, and I'm super excited about it. But that's going to stay there. What we're going to focus on now is getting that engine and trans out. I did make the little cart here, super basic, but if I measured right, which I probably didn't, it's going to fit in between the hole there. I've actually built one of these before for an engine very similar, so I'm hoping it works well. And we're going to snap this right, or snag this right out of the frame. I just need to take a few things out, such as this. I think all I have to do is take off this one bolt. That's just the bell crank for the TV rod and the throttle connection. Again, like I told you, it's all very sensitive to the Hydra-Matic. And then what we're going to have to do also is, just like in a modern transmission where the torque converter is bolted to the flywheel, it is also the same, except this doesn't have a torque converter, as what they call a fluid coupling, which is a whole other thing. But it's actually through here, and I don't know, I think there's like 25 bolts or something like that. So you have to turn the engine, pull a bolt out, turn the engine, pull a bolt out. It's kind of tedious. And then come around here and pull all these. So let's just go ahead and do all that. Snag this straight up. Get the transmission out. I think that it takes, I can put like a hook in here to pull it up. If not, we'll just ratchet strap it, no big deal. And then finally, we will be able to start on stripping and painting and getting the frame, you know, back up to what the backside is. And I know the back has always looked dirty, but I came over here and I had it all painted up. So I actually moved this away. Just the oil that had gotten on it had really collected, but you can see it's actually painted really well and it should just clean up, you know, fine. So I had restored all the seals from here back because it was leaking really bad and that did nothing. So it leaks really bad from here. This is just a really bad like rubber seal, cork seal that goes in here, and it leaks really bad from here. I have a plan for both. This one I'm not too sure about. This one I know will work really well. And then I need to adjust some of the seals on the balls, but we'll get to all that later. I just want to show you guys that once you clean this up really well, that's what the rest of this frame is going to look like once it's cleaned up. Although I didn't get to the top of this, so we'll definitely be able to take care of that. But I even cleaned over here. So it actually did come out really well. It does need some touch-up spots, but I'm excited to get started on this and finally make some progress towards restoring it. All right, guys, let's get started. All right, guys, I got everything out. I have the engine hoist set up already. I'm just using ratchet straps. I wanted to use some of the head bolts, but you need to take the valve train out to do that. So I'm not trying to worry about that right now. There is so much built up. I mean, you saw me breaking away some of this. I mean, look at this. That's just the stuff that was coming off. So I'm hoping I got all the bolts, but there probably are some hidden ones. I left the starter for now. I'm hoping that will be able to stay there and stay attached to the flywheel when I pull it off. But I'm not sure with the Hydra-Matic. These bolts bolt the second piece of the bell housing to the engine, so they should be fine. I think that's it. So we're going to go ahead and try to yank this bad boy out. I'm going to go slow in case there are some attached bolts, but hopefully not. Real quick, I wanted to come over here and talk about this. So I know matching numbers, you know, the matching numbers with quotation marks didn't really happen, I think, until early 60s, maybe late 50s. But it didn't happen in 53. But what this is this engine, or sorry, transmission is numbers matched to the engine. Now they have the same serial number. They did that because the Hydramatic was technically machined just to this motor and should never be put on another motor, although a ton of guys have done it, so it's not that big of a deal. But there is no real way to match it to the actual cab itself. But what you can do is come over here and you see this modification plate here where it's just a cover plate. Regular trucks, say with clutches, manual transmissions, didn't have this. So you'll come over here and notice that this is a Hydramatic tow board. The modifications are there. You'll know that this was a Hydramatic cab at some point. And then here you go, matching numbers, engine and trans. And then you can kind of have a matching numbers vehicle. That's why I will be keeping this engine. I won't be getting rid of it just because it will match the transmission that came in the truck, even though I'm not putting this engine back in. Okay, there it is, all strapped up. And that is where it's going to stay. It's not pretty, but it rolls nicely. It'll stay there. I'm going to strip a bunch of stuff off. I'm going to take the coil, the distributor, the water pump, and probably the fan, and obviously the power generator, possibly the horn. even the carburetor. So I'm really going to strip this engine out. I'm going to try to put it away correctly by oiling down the cylinders, all of that other stuff, and then into storage it'll go. I had to take the flywheel off though, and yes, this is a flywheel. It is not a flex plate. This automatic transmission predates flex plates, so it is a hefty thing. And you know how you can tell if you have a rear main seal leak? Jesus, this thing is just nasty. Yeah, I've got quite a bit of a mess to clean up. Guys, thank you so much for watching. That's going to be it for this video. I ran out of time. I'm trying to do weekly videos, so I got to get this out and out to you guys. So I will pull that in the next video, but it's just 2 bolts for the support and taking the U-joint out, and we'll be done. And then we're going to take all the suspension out and paint the chassis. So in the next video, we will be laying paint and getting progress. Like I said, I'm trying to get a very ambitious timeline on this. Also, the engine will be going after I strip it. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on what you think I'm going to put into it. And just go ahead and comment down below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification. It does help me out, guys, a lot. And I'll catch you on the next one.